All right, let's talk a little bit about 6 direct sets a week and what that actually means. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you are not following or subscribed, please do so. And if you will drop a comment down under this video just to say hello or give your thoughts, I would appreciate that also. So thank you so much. All right, let's get over and let's talk about this stuff. I've been doing some of my own training. So when we get on the topic of 6 total direct sets a week, so let's say you do it all in one workout, or you split it up in the week and do 3 sets twice a week, depending on whether you're doing like an upper lower or a 3-day push-pull legs or whatever you happen to be doing. And a lot of people say 6 sets doesn't sound like a lot, but what they're not factoring in is overlap. Is overlap. Now, in my case, a lot of times I'm not even counting one set of squat or deadlifts towards any of that. Those add up very, very fast too. I don't think people understand if you did 6 sets of squats and 6 sets of deadlifts every week, how much ridiculous amount of muscle stimulus that is. But I digress. So, perfect example, let's just take some upper body stuff. So let's say, in a workout, you do bench press, a laying extension or a pullover, right? Like the sort of extension you'll see me doing, some pull-ups, some type of curl, and some sort of shoulder exercise. It could be a lateral, it could be an upright row, whatever. Okay, you do 3 sets of each of that. Does that really mean each muscle only got three sets? No, of course not. Of course not. So that's what people aren't realizing, the amount of splash over, especially if most of your stuff is compound movements. All right, so perfect example. I mean, look at this extension I'm doing here. There's a very serious pullover component to that. Does anyone think there is 0 stimulus to the pecs or the lats? Go grab 100 plus pounds on a lift like that, like I'm doing, and start cranking out reps. And then come back and tell me you do not feel your pecs and your lats light up. And this is the point we're making. So yes, the bench press is working the front delts. Okay, obviously. It's working the chest as a primary mover. All that's being hit. Triceps are still getting worked. Again, we've got plenty of studies that show the bench press grows the triceps. It doesn't grow the triceps as much as it grows the pecs. Okay? That's what data has shown. The extension grows the long head way more. But the lateral head of the tricep actually grows really, really effectively from benching. So does the medial. In fact, you can get pretty dang near close to optimal stimulus out of pressing with a fair, if you do a decent amount of benching. So you see where we're going with that. There's overlap. So then what happens? So let's say you do a pull-up, and let's say you do some sort of extension like that, or a pullover or anything else. I mean, that's not just 3 sets for your pecs and lats. Okay, not just 3 sets for your triceps either, is it? No, of course not. Of course not. Because we're using bigger movements. And those bigger movements equate to what? More stimulus. And it does carry over. So that's the thing. Yeah, it may not work as a primary. You're not going to build off of an extension like that. You may not build the biggest pecs or lats in the world, but they're going to get stimulus and they're going to grow. But when you do a pull-up, then think about what's happening there, okay? So think about a pull-up. Obviously works the lats, works the traps. Does it work the upper back too? Yeah. Does it work the shoulder girdle? Yeah. Work the biceps? Yeah. For a novice, will a vertical pull grow the biceps about as much as a curl will? There have been some studies that show that yes. Now, a more advanced lifter, probably not. So start thinking of the overlap when we talk about something like this. So let's say you're doing something like that. What are we getting? We're really getting closer to 6+ sets in one workout before we do it again. So you're doing something like that, 3 sets once a week, but then you're doing it again later. You might be doing an upper lower, okay? So your 6 sets per week is more than 6, and that's what people are not understanding. It is more than 6 work sets. But 6 work sets grows everything in the lab pretty consistently. Is any study that looked at 6 hard sets, even in a trained lifter, ever failed to show muscle growth? Anybody ever seen one? I haven't. Every study I've ever seen on 6 sets in a trained lifter, at least the primary mover, grew measurably every single time, even in people with 3 or 5 years of training experience, serious experience. There were studies done on women who already could squat over 100 kilos. So they're over 225-pound squatters. Put them on 6 sets a week, their muscles all grew. Well, these are not novices by any stretch. These are almost advanced lifters. So again, understand this. But if you look at the overlap of the direct sets, okay, so you're looking at all that of those things. I said, okay, it's 6 direct sets for delts a week if you do it twice a week, right? It's 6 direct sets for pecs, 6 direct sets for lats, 6 direct sets for triceps, 6 for biceps. Pretty much covers everything. I mean, because your whole back, if we're going to count the lats. But what about the overlap? Does a pullover type extension still hit the chest? Does a pull-up hit the upper chest and stuff? Does it hit the long head of the tricep again? Have we seen studies showing they do? Yeah. Yeah. Especially any sort of pullover type effect like that. It hits the chest and lats. See where we're going? So what happens if you do a standing barbell curl? What if you do a barbell curl? Barbell curls light a lot of stuff up on an EMG. So this is what I mean. Unless you're doing super concentrated isolation work on everything, and you may be on 1 or 2 movements, like a lateral raise or a smaller curl, like I was doing an incline curl earlier in this. Yeah, you may be down to some true isolation. But that's not going to be most of your lifts. Most of your lifts are going to have overlap. So most of the muscles are actually probably getting another 6 sets of decent quality stimulus on top of the primary stimulus as a secondary. It is going to cause growth. Okay, but then what happens when we start throwing some other really big stuff in? A squat or a deadlift. I mean, everything is growing. We got studies showing upper body growth from a deadlift and a squat to some extent, haven't we? So 6 direct sets a week is not that low a volume, particularly compared with different data we have, and particularly compared to what we've seen in plenty of athletes and lifters, right? When HIIT was really big when I was coming up, I saw some guys get pretty big working out for 45 minutes 3 times a week. You'd be surprised when guys are going hard and they're picking good movements. You'd be surprised how big dudes can get if they put in 10 years like that. All right. So again, these volumes are not as low as people think they are.